I'm wondering specifically if you could speak to retention of large companies. Do you have any concerns specifically with, the CEO of Partnerships of New York commenting on Apollo moving their headquarters? Is there anything in this report that addresses, retaining these large companies that are already, a big generator of jobs in the city?
This report focuses on the cost of living for New Yorkers at large. It brings to light statistics like the one I'd shared about working class New Yorkers leaving at 4 times the rate of wealthy New Yorkers. It also shines a light on the fact that the median household wealth for white New Yorkers in this city is $276,000. For black New Yorkers, it's $18,000. The disparities that we're seeing within this city. And I think as the public advocate put it very well.
But I do want to make sure we lift up particularly black communities.
Which is that we are here to fight for each and every New Yorker.
Particularly black communities.
And that these statistics are not an indictment of anyone who calls this city home. They are an indictment of policies, politics, and a system that we have allowed to flourish for far too long.
Is there anything in this report that addresses, retaining?
And so what this report is a reminder to all of us to do is to build a city where equity is not a footnote or an acknowledgement, but is also a framework for how we deliver for the people of the city.
What's that? Sorry to interrupt your regularly scheduled broadcast for an important comment from New York City resident Snake Plissken.
I don't give a fuck.
Wise words from old Snake there.
Frankly, I love his voice. I love his accent. I love his vibe. I mean, I'm probably not going to like what he has to say, but he's definitely got an energy about him.
Holy guacamole. Mamdani in his Office of Equity and Racial Justice.
I'm delighted to welcome Mayor Mamdani and the Office of Equity and Racial Justice.
God forbid you're still living in New York City. I hate to ask why, but if you still were, I think it's time that you get the fuck out. Go anywhere but there. Apparently, they voted on this, I guess in 2022, when Adams was still the mayor. I don't know if they changed their minds somewhere along the way, but they kind of pulled back on all of it because it's a real packaging of 2 different politically popular movements, which is the inaffordability crisis in New York City, packaged with racial equity. And if you don't know how dangerous those 2 being combined are, you're probably a leftist. Because I really felt that opening really kind of captured the actual sheer insanity of everything that has to do with Mamdani and this entire group of flunkies standing behind him. Mamdani, how do you plan on keeping businesses here? Retention. How do you plan on keeping the businesses that are here that are already employing a lot of people in the city while ultimately forcing all this down everybody's throats? Our black population is disproportionately affected by poverty. How that answered the question? It didn't. Just like every question he's been asked, he doesn't answer the question, and he just sticks to the talking points, to the script, because that's all leftists need to hear anymore. What are we going to do about the millionaires and billionaires? And, of course, racial equity. So I got a couple key clips of this and just the actual true insanity of everything that these people preach from this podium and how big a mess, truly, actually, literally, how big a mess New York City is actually in. And John Carpenter, I never used to think he was a fortune teller, psychic. The more I see of people like this in power, the more I realize he was. Because this is mainstream. This is the future of the Democratic Party. So as dangerous as they think Trump and all that is, these folks are tenfold that. They'll smile in your face and put a knife right in your forehead. So, without further ado, let's check out what old Mamdani got to talk about, huh?
It is a pleasure to be here to announce the release of our preliminary racial equity plan and true cost of living report.
I'm telling you, bro, it's combined for a reason, and I'd imagine you know why, but it's truly just the undercover of it all. Meanwhile, as New York City has fallen apart at the seams, especially since COVID, COVID did a lot of irreparable damage to New York City. This will, in fact, put the nail in the coffin that is New York City.
And I want to say thank you first to our Chief Equity Officer and our Commissioner of the Mayor's Office of Equity and Racial Justice, Afia Atamensa.
Listen to these titles. Mayor's Office of Equity and Justice. Bro, this is 1984 in the flesh. These are the baddies. They are Ing Sok, whatever the fuck their goddamn name was. They've mastered this shit. Karl Marx could only have hoped that all this would have unfolded as well as it has. Everything they claim to be fighting, they will create more of. Everything, bro, that I could remember growing up in the 90s and 2000s and all like the issues that we had at least quelled for the most part of the racial differences, intolerances, they have brought back on fucking steroids with this shit. Bro, people get paid more money than you probably have ever been paid in 1 year in these offices. In the Office of Racial Equity and Justice. Tax dollars are being taken to pay these people, bro. There was another conference I called earlier. One of the people called them a moral architect. A moral architect.
The role of a chief equity officer is to be the city's moral architect. It is about ensuring that every budget line, every housing development, and every city contract passes an equity test.
That's 1984. That is it.
Together, these reports establish a framework for how our city will both measure affordability and plan for the future. The true cost of living measure confirms what New Yorkers have long known to be true. Too many people cannot afford the city that they love.
Why is that? Why is that? I mean, they don't even touch that.
New York City is home to skyscrapers, $1 million listings, $9 lattes, and yet more than 3 in 5 New Yorkers, 62%, cannot keep up with the cost of living in this city.
Might be time to fucking move. It might be. I'm just saying, things get too expensive around here. You might need to start thinking of an escape plan because it's not going to get any better. There's nothing this group here can do that will make your lives any better. They only care about a certain demographic. That's it. The poor browns. If you're not part of those groups, bro, you're at the end of the list, specifically, intentionally. Yet they're not the racist. The people that look like you. It's actually your fault. You know, we don't blame anybody or nothing. And we're out for all people, everyone. We have a list. And you just happen to be at the very, very bottom of it, purposefully. But please don't leave. We need your taxes.
We know that these effects are not applied evenly. So often it is black and brown New Yorkers who are hit the hardest.
I promise it's not because of the whites. It's not because of the whites. It's because of the black and the browns, actually. There is no sense of personal responsibility with these people. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always some other boogeyman that could be connected to the past is why you're in the position you're in. Has nothing to do with you or your terrible, terrible fucking decision making, of course. You know, it's just a passing justices and, whiteness.
This preliminary racial equity plan is the first step in developing a whole of government approach to tackling that reality.
You let them tell it. It's the whole of the past government approach that created all this. But they, and this whole government, will turn all that around. You don't trust them? Look at this group. Yeah, I don't trust a single one of those people. Not a fucking one of them, bro. It's something about women, bro. There's always some black women in these positions. That has to be the top of their want ad. Black woman, you're fucking head of the class. Bring her on. We'd love to have you.
It is a plan that lays out these first steps to solve decades of neglect and discrimination. And it places the work of 45 city agencies within a singular framework.
45 city agencies under the equity plan. That ain't reverse Jim Crow. You wonder why they even think that this is the solution, that this is the answer to all their dilemmas and problems. And like, it's really truly just the gotten of the gottenness of all this Marxist ideology, insanity. Like, this is like the pinnacle of all that. This is where the trifecta fucking ends up meeting, and it just becomes like the death trap of all the Marxism.
Too often, the story of black and brown New Yorkers is one of being forced to stretch that same dollar that little bit further, as well as an exodus and exclusion continues to take place. When I say exodus, I refer to the fact that from 2000 to 2020, more than 200,000 black New Yorkers were pushed out of this city because they could not afford life in the most expensive city in the United States of America.
You can't fix it. Like, short of like actual communism, which I know is like your ultimate end all to all this shit, isn't like the intention of to make things better? If that's the city you're living in, like if things are more expensive, like you're going to have a certain demographic in there, regardless of color. You're going to have the people who can afford to live there. I mean, ultimately, that's the people you'd want, is the people that can afford to live there. Like, I get it if some people love this place, born and raised, you love it, you don't want to leave. I get all that argument to it. But at the end of the day, like, that is ultimate progress. Like, nobody owes you like the intention of like staying where you are forever, as half the motherfuckers there like do nothing to like make it better. It all just gets worse and worse and worse, completely their responsibility. And when people want to come in and make it better, gentrification, it's not progress or nothing. It's the wrong progress. It's not progressive progress, which is ultimate toilet bowl.
Because rent was too high, childcare was too expensive, and groceries cost too much.
And there's a million reasons for all that shit. A million fucking reasons for all of it. The fact that they can even do childcare is like the biggest fucking insanity like in the world. Like, you hear like a number here in a minute, and it's wild to think that this is like this dude's entire platform. This dude is like straight up Stalin from the Middle East. Commie through and through.
Now, I ran for mayor on an affordability agenda because we know that we cannot solve this crisis without reckoning with the fact that the neighborhoods hit hardest by rent and the rising nature of it, by childcare costs and the suffocating manner of it, are the same ones that have been hit for years by institutional neglect and racism.
Nice little underhand, and racism. Institutional neglect and racism. New York fucking city, bro. Been like minority ran for the last however fucking long you can remember. They're all black. All like the borough fucking leaders and everybody like they're all black. I just don't know like how like they think they're gonna fix this shit. Like to even imagine that like they think they're coming up with something new here. It isn't. And it's just communism. At the end of the day, like, they want to control everything. They're going to give you like a whole list of stipulations on top of all the other stipulations that has strangled every bit of growth in that city for the last 20 years, especially. They're not going to add more to that. Give us the percentage breakdown of like the colors you got in there. How many colors? How many sexualities? How many genders? This is the future of the left. Utter like domination of leftism in New York City right now. Currently.
In that way, New York City's affordability crisis and its history of racial inequity are bound together.
No. See, an affordability crisis and racial inequity. You see how they do it? Crazy, because I can picture this whole crowd, and it's all black people just loving it. Of course, as a white man, I only see it the way I see it, because I'm a white man, and I benefit from, white supremacy and my privilege and all that shit. Coming from a guy who grew up fucking next to trailer parks. I fucking grew up with friends of mine that slept on dirt fucking floors. I've known utter poverty. I've known like the bottom of the fucking bottom, folks. Even amidst the poverty that I grew up in, crime wasn't a piece of what it is in these cities. You wonder why? Is it the government institutional inequity of it all? Or is it maybe just, culture? Oh, I bet you know the answer to that question.
That is why when we secured $1.2 billion in partnership with the governor to place our city on a path to universal childcare.
$1.2 billion.
$1.2 billion.
Billion dollars. so we could watch people's kids in a city that's drowned in utter decay. Bro, it's all falling apart by the fucking seams. Every bit of it, every inch of New York City is falling apart. And you would imagine that using $1 billion, $1 billion, bro, a B, bro, not an M, a fucking $1 billion to watch people's kids will be worth the squeeze. Bro, you want to talk about priorities being fucked up? You want to talk about, bro, priorities being so goddamn backwards that it will only help further destroy it all? Mamdani.
Now, as we finalize this plan, we will continue to tackle our city's affordability crisis without turning away from the decades and, frankly, centuries of disinvestment in Black and brown New Yorkers.
Centuries? Centuries, bro? Like, what was the Black population 100 years ago in New York City? I bet you it was a percentage that fucking big. But yet, they were the only part that weren't getting investments. I'm sure the Irish, Italians, and all that, bro. I'm sure they were getting great investments into their city. I'm sure it had nothing to do with the culture of, like, let's take care of our neighborhood. Let's take care of Little Italy. Take care of, like, the world in which we all live. I'm sure it had nothing to do with any of it. I'm sure it was just the government making it all better, right? Bro, this banana land shit.
Now, we will need New Yorkers' help with this work.
I'm sure you will. Oh, I'm sure you fucking will. Yo, they're gonna have to make a law that, like, doesn't let people leave. That's what they're gonna end up having to do. They're gonna have to make it so fucking expensive to leave that it would be cheaper just to give the government all that they're demanding. Living in California, bro, like, yo, if you rent a U-Haul in California, bro, you'll pay $4,000 for it to take it wherever the fuck you're going. If you did it the opposite, to go to California, bro, it'd be a couple $100. Because they want to make it so goddamn outrageously expensive to leave. You're getting killed regardless. Stay, we're going to kill you. Leave, we're going to kill you too. We need your money. We need your money to spend on all these things that we think spending them on will fix all the problems that we created with all the other bullshit.
To what government can be doing better to finally reckon with both the true cost of living in this city and the racial inequities we've seen pervade for far too long in this place that we call home.
Bro, it's the combining of the two that really got me. It'd be one thing to, to try and handle, like, the true cost, the high exorbitant prices of everything. Like, I don't think they'd fix it. But it'd be one thing if it was just that one. Just that one. Combine the two and then make offices of all the equity fucking leaders and commissioners that are probably fucking making $250,000 a year. $250,000 a year on top of the $1 billion for childcare. Who knows how many salaries they're now paying for people to make sure that they've reached a level of racial equity that I guess Mamdani and his crew could be proud of. Oh, you're good enough. You're good enough. We're not worried about you hiring no whites. Just get all the blacks, because that's most important. It's most important.
The Office of Equity and Racial Justice is helping to lead this effort. And as a commissioner, I want to be clear that this is just the first step. A step we took in spite of tensions around doing so.
You think? I mean, it wouldn't matter. They're still going to do it. Tensions around it or not. You think that's going to stop these people? They've been hammered since kindergarten that this is the correct path. Racial justice. We got to correct for all history's injustices. The people that didn't live it, the people who didn't do it, by the people who didn't have it done to them. Like, how do you even, argue with somebody who believes that this is the right way to do it without them just immediately deeming you as racist and, ignoring everything you had to say anyway? Oh, you're a white man, I can't lie. Of course you don't like this. Why wouldn't you? Replacing you. But that's not a thing either,
So I also want to take a moment to recognize the individuals and partners who helped guide this work, to the Racial Justice Charter Amendment Advisory Board for their leadership and insight.
Racial Justice Charter Amendment? Listen to these groups, bro. Oh, so she's got more.
The racial equity planning team members across the city and the 9 racial equity planners who are here with us, planning managers.
And if there's anybody white in it, I'd bet you it's a woman or it's a gay man. There ain't a chance in fucking hell they had a straight, cis, white male on the Racial Equity Commissioner Planning Board. I don't know how this doesn't get worse. I don't know how, like, every intention, good or bad, that they might have here, I don't know how it all just doesn't get 100 times worse. All the affordability crisis and everything to go with it, how it only gets more. Because people are leaving. People ain't sticking around for this shit. Anybody who can will. Anybody who can't will just get the boot put on them harder. As everybody behind these motherfuckers are, yeah, racial equity commission advisors.
And let's be clear, when 62% of New Yorkers can't afford to live here, that's not a crisis on the margins. It's a citywide emergency. What this report confirms is what communities have been saying for generations. Inequality in New York City is not accidental, it's systemic, and it's racial.
Bro, it's mainstream. This is fucking mainstream, like, headline. It's everywhere, and it's infected every avenue of your life at this point. With every defense against it immediately negated. Bro, the fucking force field that these people have around them has been so built up over the decades. There isn't an argument you could use against them that they would consider valid. There's not one. And how it is you think, like, with our words, through conversation, through debate, you can actually get through to these people who have made livings good, great livings on grievance fucking politics, on racial division. It's too good for the goose to think it wouldn't be for the gander that these motherfuckers are gonna ride it till the wheels fall off. And they will fall off. And we'll be Civil War fucking 2 in New York City. With the couple whites that are left. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is other than talking out against it, other than just trying to show the rest of the world how crazy and racist these people truly fucking are. They're everything I've never been. Everything I've spent my whole life not trying to be, in a sense of, like, feeling at one with someone solely because we share the same skin tone. If that's what you're gonna make me fucking have to do to, like, survive, to, like, somehow not get strangled out by people who, like, hate me because of something that they never lived through. Entire life is the way it is for reasons that they've created. I don't know, man. I don't know. Strap up.
And I always want to say, you have to mention race in the solution because race was mentioned in creating the problem in the first place.
No, you did that. You mentioned race in the first place that created this fucking metaphorical problem. You hear him? Bro, this at the mayor of New York City's podium. If this ain't, like, as mainstream could ever be, like, you're not paying attention.
Millions of New Yorkers are doing everything right and still falling behind.
Doing everything right and still falling behind. Do I believe that there are some people who are doing everything right and still falling behind? Absolutely, I do. And I'm all for helping those people, like making sure that, like, they don't drown when they're the ones working 50, 60 fucking hours a week to do it and do it the right way. You start talking about 5 million people that can't afford to live. How many of those people aren't even trying? Never tried. Ever. Not fucking a single time in their fucking life have ever tried to do it and do it the right way. And what are we supposed to be doing for them? Like, motherfuckers are talking about legislating dignity. Legislating dignity. Dignity is something on a personal level. Like, it's something that we give one another. Like, you can't do it through the government. It's impossible. And the fact that people would even, like, get up here and say this shit.
And I want to make sure that we're lifting all the communities that were mentioned who are burdened by a system that's created for the wealthy. And I want to be clear that I understand there are wealthy black New Yorkers and there are poor white New Yorkers. But we shouldn't let individual accomplishments take away the community impact.
Sure, man, we see that some people are doing really good and have made it out of the depths of hell, you know, by their hard work and determination. But what about all the other ones that didn't? What about them? What about them that have only shit on their entire fucking world, their whole goddamn life? Hey man, we get it. We get it. You know, all the barriers have been removed from actual racial inequalities. Not everybody's doing it. I'm saying, bro, this is like blatant communism. Racial commie. Racial fucking communism. Is that a new form of communism? I'm not sure. But holy fucking banana land.
Instead of allowing leaders to feed our biases and to point to other people and say you're the reason why something's not happening.
That's your whole life, bro. That's your whole fucking platform, clown. Bro, like the fact that these people can sit up here and say some of the stuff they do, it's just no awareness at all. No shame whatsoever. Complete, bro, will just lie, make up whatever the fuck they got to in the moment. And the people who love it don't give a fuck no goddamn way. Like the people who vote for this shit, bro, that's why I don't think everybody should be able to vote at all. Men, women, I mean like the whole list of people. Like if you're not like seriously paying into the system, a big chunk of like your money that you work for and earn every year is not being taken, I don't think you get to have a say. I mean, from the fucking heart. If you're not fucking skin, blood, sweat, and tears into this system, I don't think you have a right to vote for nothing. Like, you just got to deal with it or like go some goddamn where else. The fact that like we can be like voted upon by hordes of worthless, no good fucking people, scum, absolute degenerates. You think that's what George Washington and them were fighting for in them days? Huh? Everybody got a voice. Oh, the more people that can vote, the better. Yeah, fuck you.
A plan like this can lay out a framework that says everybody has a right to be here, everybody has a right to thrive, and we're going to knock down the systems that are different for everyone, but we're going to recognize those systems that are keeping them behind and put in policies that change decades and decades of purposeful harm that is done by race.
That's it. That's all they got. That's all they got, and this will win them more elections. This will win them more votes. Because there's more motherfuckers with nothing. There's more motherfuckers with no drive, no fucking hopes, dreams, and aspirations for a second of their lives that will vote for this shit. It's beyond repeal the 19th at this point. It's repeal almost everybody's voting privileges. I don't give a fuck. Like, if you can't see, like, the actual, like, destruction that comes with allowing big swaths of the population to fucking be able to vote over the people that, like, are funding every fucking bit of this shit. What'd you say, Snake?
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck anymore. And how we're gonna fix any of this shit? At least all New York fucking City. One more time, Snake. Fuck it. One more time.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck anymore.